YouTube, how you do? You feel me? Phantom encouraged me to go. You talk. Everybody's out here, so you want to watch this live? Turn on post notifications because I also stream on YouTube. Not only do I post, I stream on YouTube. So, Phantom encouraged me. As I did, Phantom, even if I watch this shit by myself, I thought niggas would think I was weird for watching this shit on the low. But I never streamed it or to it. I see people like Phantom watching it, so I'm old. I already been watching these. They go to my YouTube history, my subscriptions, all my old like videos. I've been watching shit. I promise you. But let's get straight into it. Teen killer forced to tell mom about his crimes.
Is she okay?
You see where she's hit at?
No, it's on the side of her head. They're saying she's pregnant too. Take a deep breath.
This woman was just informed that her daughter, Tiara Harris, was shot in a gang-related incident and is in critical condition.
They just were shooting, and the blood just started dripping from her head, like shooting them under the ambulance. Like, I can't even talk right now, bro.
Her boyfriend rushed her to the hospital, but sadly...
He was kind of young and he was kind of old. This picture give high schooler, he give... He'll be older though.
It was already too late. And the worst part, Tiara had nothing to do with the shootout. She was an innocent bystander. A simple mix-up left an innocent, pregnant mother of 2 dead, her children now motherless, and her family absolutely heartbroken. The police now face a grueling investigation. However, with everyone involved supposedly being gang members, catching the killers would prove to be much harder than anything they'd done before. We've been in touch with Yolanda, the mother featured in this video, and are proud to share that half of the video's profits will be donated to the Akron-based charity First Glance Student Center. At 7:29 p.m. on April 14th, Akron Police Department would receive multiple calls reporting dozens of gunshots being fired out of 1492 Rockaway Street.
The house is that caught.
Witnesses would describe what seemed like a gang-related shooting with multiple cars speeding away from the scene, one being a silver 4-door Chevy. Police managed to quickly track down the Chevy, following it as the driver sped across back roads in Akron. However, the Chevy wasn't actually running from the cops. It instead would pull over somewhere that concerned the cops even more: the hospital.
There's someone in the car still.
Hey, hold up.
Police on the chase. Okay.
5807.
Somebody to the hospital.
5807.
Go ahead and shut the car off. Shut the car off. Shut the car off here. Go ahead and put your hands on top of your head, all right? Nope. Hands on top of your head. Step up. Step up.
Well, do we have someone checking High Street?
All right, man. Here, step back here to the back of the car. Go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
With the incident being reported as a gang-related shootout, police would assume the man driving the Chevy to be a gang member, meaning he would be very unlikely to talk to them.
Gang-related shooting, a black man. Well, I don't blame him.
So instead, they decide to stop him in the back of a patrol car for later interrogation. As this was going on, dozens of additional 911 calls would ring in, witnesses would arrive at the Akron Police Department to give their testimonies, and more cars would arrive at the hospital. Most importantly though, 4 miles away, a young woman would be placed in an ambulance under critical condition, with a bullet wound to her head.
How many motherfuckers didn't get hit at the shooting by the house? You got hit at school? Huh?
Most importantly though, 4 miles away, a young woman would be placed in an ambulance under critical condition, with a bullet wound to her head. Turns out all of this would be connected to a large group of reckless shooters. It's at this point that we need to step in. This is one of the most complex and mysterious cases we've ever covered, so we need to break down some details first in order for you to fully understand the case itself and how well the police handled every single step of solving it. At 7:22 p.m., a car arrived at 1492 Rockaway Street carrying a number of people who
That's a car. Okay.
started hanging out with some friends on the side of the road. This group included Javier Small, Lanier Worthy, and Jonte Smith. Everything seemed fine until 7:29 p.m. A black vehicle reversed into the street carrying Tiara Harris and her boyfriend George. Her boyfriend recognized some of the people on the sidewalk and wanted to back up and say hi to them. At that very moment, on the other end of the street, 3 men emerged from an unrelated vehicle and started firing bullets.
Does your boyfriend want to be?
These men were Zaire Saunders, 17-year-old Antonio Whitaker, and Darion Rackley. All were Zaire bullets. Say hi to them. At that very moment, on the other end of the street, 3 men emerged from an unrelated vehicle and started firing bullets. These men were Zaire Saunders, 17-year-old Antonio Whitaker, and Darion Rackley, all affiliated with the gang BBM, a notoriously violent gang active in Akron at the time. There was also the driver of the car, Jeremiah Williams. Their shots scattered the group on the sidewalk, with everyone running for cover. In the panic, Jonte and Javier drew their guns and began to shoot back. Bullets went back and forth, and everyone went into a panic as they realized their lives were at risk and a bullet could strike them.
They shooting at the. So what?
Everyone running for cover.
So I thought he knew them. They was friends. Hold on.
All affiliated with the gang BBM, a notoriously violent gang active in Akron at the time. There was also the driver of the car, Jeremiah Williams. Their shots scattered the group on the sidewalk, with everyone running for cover. In the panic, Jonte and Javier drew their guns and began to.
So they thought it was them shooting? In reality, it was them shooting. So he knew
to shoot back. Bullets went back and forth, and everyone went into a panic as they realized their lives were at risk. And
so he thought it was them shooting. So it was really them shooting. So he probably really killed that girl. That's probably his homie bitch. It said he knew them. He was saying what's up to these people. It's probably really their homie. Him not knowing who it really is, he in the car minding his business. He heard gunshots and see them drive off, so he probably think it was them. He like, fuck it, I'm busting at y'all. You want to drive off? In reality, it's some niggas behind him. These niggas wasn't such bitches. They would have waited a couple seconds. He turned around, could have easily head tapped his ass.
And a bullet could strike them at any moment. Seconds later, the dust settled, and the BBM members Zaire, Antonil, and Darion fled the scene. However, a grueling silence would ring throughout the street as Tiara's boyfriend, George, realized Tiara was the sole victim of the shooting. With BBM splitting up and running in different directions, George flooring it to the hospital, and everyone on the sidewalk either heading inside or preparing to head to the hospital too, cops would begin the grueling task of figuring out what just happened, and who, ultimately, was the one that fired the killing shot. Now that you understand exactly what happened, we can join the police as they try to...
I don't.
figure out what just went down and how to solve the developing mystery. Remember that all the cops have received at this point is a phone call alerting them to the shooting and a description of the silver Chevy they've just pulled a gang member from.
There's another victim that's at we don't know where that victim's going to go. There's a possibility that victim may be deceased.
Yeah, they got shot. Okay. They got.
Someone's got to go check, probably.
Two of the officers ran over to the front of the hospital and discovered Javier Small and his girlfriend in complete distress.
He can't go with you in that room.
Because she got to go to get checked out. Hang tight.
As it turns out, another girl was also hit in the shooting, that being this man's girlfriend. Luckily, she was only shot in the leg, but he was still extremely distraught and horrified about the whole incident.
Bro, I'm on house arrest. I gotta go. I gotta go to the house with my girl, bro.
We'll get you. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. I'll tell you how she gonna be fine.
I don't think he had necessarily. Probably he really is from somewhere. I think he was still with the homies. I think he got shot.
I don't know, bro. Your girl just got shot, bro. No.
Despite how distraught this guy is, he was a passenger in the Chevy, which they just found multiple firearms inside of. So police promptly arrested him.
Hey, Palpy, we'll take him over here.
Across town, however, there's someone in a much worse position. Tiara Harris, the passenger in the black car.
Can I open that up?
Alright.
They're saying she's pregnant too. How pregnant is she? How far along? 2 weeks pregnant. Okay. 2 weeks.
He's really calm. Like really calm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nigga, this girl got shot in the leg. See how you saw he was acting? This girl got shot in the head. Look how calm he is. That's not weird. Other than girl got shot in the leg, he's boo-hoo crying on house arrest. Said, fuck it, carry this girl parking lot to the what's your name and still spot the, you feel me? This girl got shot in the head. He's on his phone on the side of the road, just that's weird.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
44, is there anything flying around? I think the pulse on
Am I allowed to ride in the car with her though to the hospital?
Not right now. I'm sorry, man.
Bro, Yanni just got shot. I mean, T just got shot. Bro, just in the car, just driving down the street. And Kenmore driving from over there, and they just was shooting. None of the glass broke, but she wasn't like moving or talking. So I just brought her, and the blood just started dripping from her head. Like, bro, we see in the hospital.
Was that nigga in a gray Impala, or because somebody look shot? Hold on. I don't think the niggas originally shot from back here. I don't think it was them. I think it was nigga that was in this car. Look,
Bullets went
nigga that was in this car.
back and forth, and everyone went
Either he shot
into a panic
her,
as they realized their lives were at risk and a
and shots came,
bullet could strike them at any moment.
or he shot her. I don't think they shot her. Him or him. I really think it was him. I think it was this bullet right here. Where look. I think it was this motherfucker
And began
right
to
here.
shoot back.
Boom. I think that was the one. I really think that was the one. I think that was the one I did it. I think that was the one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it was him.
She in the hospital. She's in the ambulance. Like, I can't even talk right now, bro.
Tiara was immediately rushed to the local hospital, and her boyfriend George was brought in for questioning. He wasn't a lead suspect, but police did find it odd that he just happened to arrive at the site of a violent shooting right as it all went down. He would claim to be innocent and actually provide a detailed description of everything that went down that night.
You turned off here, so
no, boom, no, I didn't. I came this way, and I said, "What y'all got? Like, what y'all got going on over here?" Like, I'm like basically saying, "Is y'all good?"
Right.
As soon as I said that, somebody from down here got to just shooting a gun that just kept shooting. That's all I know. But I didn't hear nobody or nothing like that.
So you're right there, and then you heard that. How many shots did you hear?
Man, I can't even recall. It was a lot. And then as soon as I
So you were facing this way?
No.
You literally backed all the way on.
Say I'm coming down here in this Rockaway. Like, this would be Rockaway.
Okay.
Down, I backed up.
Oh, so you backed, so the back of your car was facing that way?
Yeah, and I'm like, is y'all, I'm like, what y'all got going on? Like, I look out just like that.
Like out the window?
Like, as soon as I even, like, it should have been me, like, you feel me? Because I'm the one that looked straight out the window, like, y'all all right, y'all good type stuff.
The cops asked him why he was even there in the first place, to which he just said he knew a couple of people on the street and that he had absolutely no involvement in the shooting. He's claiming that when he peeked out the window, his friends mistook him for the shooter and began to fire bullet after bullet directly at his vehicle. According to him, it wasn't an accident, but a misunderstanding, making the whole situation even more tragic. With George's statement, they were a little clearer on the whole situation, but they'd made no progress into actually solving the case or tracking down the real perpetrators. That was until they returned to the scene and spoke to a number of witnesses who had watched the entire event take place.
It was two African Americans.
Where were they running?
Young kids. They come from back there across this backyard next door and out the driveway.
They hopped the fence?
Black. He had a face mask on and had a 9mm. And then the other one had a semi-automatic rifle, and they were almost to the corner of the house running this way, and they both jumped the fence. Like when the kid in the hoodie jumped the maroon hoodie jumped the fence, he dropped the semi-automatic rifle in the driveway.
I was just out back cutting some stuff, and all I heard was just a barrage of bullets, fully auto. It wasn't 3-round burst, 4-round. It was fully auto. Coming off fast. Oh yeah, hot and loud and fast. And then I saw two guys. When I was out back, I could see through the backyards, through the fence. I saw a silhouette of two guys running up towards that street, returning single shots as they were running away.
There's casings up here.
Oh, you found something?
Yeah.
I got more.
Okay.
How many did you hear, you think?
I heard it was like 30.
Like where all these cones are at, probably that amount?
30 or 40. But this happened over there all the time.
Where's over there?
Right there, the house right there.
I heard a lot of gunfire, but when I went out, when I first heard it, I thought it was a backfire because I saw this car sitting over here where all the cones are. He had his lights on. So I thought he was working on a car and it backfired real bad. Then I saw them loading people into cars to take them to the hospital, and I knew it wasn't, because this has happened so many times before. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
Right.
We can't go outside, nothing.
Even with all this new information, though, the cops are only slightly closer to figuring out what happened. They were now at least able to confirm that one group of shooters rolled up and started the exchange before another responded, causing a huge exchange of bullets throughout the neighborhood. But they still had two major questions. Who were the shooters, and how was Tiara involved? Well, the cops had just spotted another witness that might be able to answer their questions. A woman who was actually on the street the moment the bullets started flying.
So you don't live here?
I'm not even from here. Oh, I was visiting.
So who owns the house?
Anitra Johnson.
She is? Okay.
She was out to eat when I called her.
Okay. Everyone's okay though, right? The kids?
The kids, yes.
Yeah,
the kids are okay. I got them in the back watching TV.
Okay.
There was another girl outside. I think she got shot in the thigh or the leg. I think they took her probably to the hospital.
Okay.
She definitely got hit.
Okay. So what did you see?
I'm sitting outside. To be honest, we all family. So we're all outside prayer wrestling, like act like we hitting each other and stuff. Next thing I know, I just heard these gunshots. I'm like, all right, was that a BB gun? Come through shooting.
Yeah.
And it was like, pow, 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 and came through again. So I'm running up, I didn't even know where the gunshots came from. I'm running up, trying to grab the kids. They came through twice.
Okay. Did the house get hit at all?
I mean, I don't even fuck. Is that a bullet right here? I don't know. I was really just trying to grab the kids.
And you said it, so what? They got out of a car?
They didn't even get out of the car.
Or they just started, they were hanging out
shooting? They was hanging out shooting.
Okay. Did you see how many by shooting? Three of them?
Now it's starting to sound a lot more like a drive-by shooting. Notoriously one of the hardest type.
Don't know that was probably. Well, was he?
of crimes to solve, especially if the vehicle was stolen. The cops are starting to lose confidence that they'll ever find Tiara's killer, but then they decide to ask one simple question.
Ma'am, do those cameras work?
I believe so.
Okay.
She on her way home.
Oh, she is? Okay, perfect.
There were CCTV cameras on the property, and as soon as the homeowner got back, they'd have access to the footage. So in just a few hours, the cops were able to put together just enough footage to understand exactly what happened. Remember, we already know all of this, but for the police, this was huge. Now they had a detailed timeline of the entire incident, including at what time it went down, how many people were involved, and which vehicles the suspects used. This would be very useful in the coming interrogations in terms of verifying their suspects' claims and pressuring them to confess. Police finally had a solid piece of evidence, and right as their case had started to build some substance, their biggest lead yet would step out right in front of them.
I have video of them carrying the girl that got shot.
I can put it on an SD card.
And that's not the same one that was at
She'll send her a link and then she can just upload it from there.
Right after they took off.
Not only had they seen the entire thing go down, but as soon as they heard gunshots, they started recording. They managed to get this clear footage of a man getting into the same vehicle spotted at the shooting just minutes earlier. Now all they needed to do was track down the car using the visible license plate, and they'd have their first lead suspect. But with that said, these kids were no strangers to running from the police, and the officers would begin the hunt to find these evil teens. While all of this was going on, police had another, perhaps more nerve-wracking situation to handle. Tiara had passed away, and her family had no idea.
There's currently not like too many people in the hospital. Let's step over here and see where all these cruises are.
My car okay? I'm
Where's
right
your car
here.
at?
I'm right here because I
This one?
didn't know.
Or this one?
Right here.
Sorry, which one? Okay. What's your daughter's name? You're here for your daughter?
Tiara Harris.
Kiara Harris. Let's say have you stand right here next to the sign. We'll have someone go over and talk to you, okay? Take a deep breath.
Is she okay?
I don't know the names of who they are currently, miss.
Just listen to the cop's tone here. He knows just how bad things are looking for Tiara, and he absolutely doesn't want to break that news to her mother yet, especially when he sees just how emotional she's starting to get. Tiara's autopsy showed a single bullet struck her in the head and remains there. While tragic, this information would allow police to identify the exact bullet type and then gun used to shoot Tiara. If they could find the owner of this gun, they would be able to match it to the bullet, and justice could be served for Tiara and her family.
RPTR in the chat.
I got a bunch of people showing
That's
up.
my son and my nephew.
Okay, well, listen, they can't go in. It's going to be you.
Y'all go in the car. Go in the car.
They telling us to wait outside.
I know. I'm going in. Go in my car.
The entire family is in distress, with her mom shaking and doing everything she can to stay strong in front of her kids. It's truly a nightmare situation, and it only got worse from there. At around 8:30 p.m., they were informed that Tiara didn't make it. A bullet to the back of the head had ended her life, sending her family into complete grief and agony. Now police knew that they absolutely had to catch the people that did this to Tiara, or risk
it was that nigga that drove to the hospital. Originally with Ski. I think it was him.
letting down her and her entire family. At this point, police had 6 different suspects on the run, all tied to the shooting, and they would eventually manage to track down and get interrogations with all of them. Their start came in the form of a Facebook post by someone named Jeremiah Williams, described as a member of the BBM gang. Apparently, the post consisted of him bragging about being at the shooting and escaping without getting caught. By using his Facebook profile, they'd find his address and pick him up for interrogation. With Jeremiah also being a supposed gang member, he too would prove to be extremely difficult to break. However, by using expert methods, police would actually get him to break completely, to the point where he actually started to cry.
You want some tissue?
Yeah, that's true. I'm going, Jeremiah.
What? What's that? At my door. What? Yo. Working back. Let me see. Bro, shit. Yo, my mic working, chat. Let's see. Yo. Alright, it's working. Come on.
Sorry for the wait, man. I'm Detective Smith. This is Detective Davis. Nice to meet you. Alright, man. So the reason why we have you sitting here talking to us is we need you to think back to April. There's an incident that happened on Rockaway. You remember this? This young lady got shot. You remember hearing about that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so during our investigation, your name's been coming up. But do you know about where you were that day, if you can? Or
I was definitely at home.
Apparently, Jeremiah also has an alibi, and even gives multiple names over that'll attest he wasn't on Rockaway that night.
You're at home. Yeah. Where was that, at Amherst?
Amherst. This was right before my mom moved to Louisiana. My best friend, Rob, talked to her sister, the girl that died, her sister, Dayani, or Diane, or however you say her name. My best friend, Rob, was like in a kind of little...
Like dating?
Yeah, with her sister. And it was crazy. We got on Facebook, and it was all over Facebook. Her sister had got killed and stuff. And my mom was like, ain't that the girl that came over here the other day? And we like, no, that was her little sister.
Has her little sister reached out to you guys or anything?
I don't talk to her at all for real, but.
So you were at your house on Amherst?
Yeah.
Was there anyone with you that day?
My mom.
What's your mom's
name? My mom's name is April.
However, the detectives know this to be untrue. They know he was at the scene from the Facebook post he made. They know he did it, so they want to get a confession, or even better, some information that might help.
Is it working? I ain't gonna know XLR cord. It should be tripping. XLR.
Put more people in handcuffs. The thing is, they're initially going to find that a lot harder than they'd hope.
I have to ask, do you recognize this car?
Dude, this was the video. That's on Facebook.
So you remember it. Have you ever been in this car?
No.
Do you know who drives this car or owns this car?
I don't know him by like name, but I know who he is. His name like Pa or something.
Pa? Do you know, can you describe him?
That's funny because I don't even really know what he looks like.
I mean,
every time I've seen him with a ski mask on.
Okay.
Like I've never seen him outside of a ski mask.
Okay. All right. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Your past. Like, have you ever been in trouble or anything?
Yeah. I'm actually right now. I got probation.
So like just a weapons possession charge is all you got?
It's like carrying a concealed firearm in a motor vehicle.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Jeremiah is making a conscious attempt to give as little information over as possible while still trying to seem cooperative. He's smart. He doesn't want to completely close himself off, as that'll make him seem guilty, but he also doesn't want to give up any vital information. The cops ask him who was there, where he was sitting in the car, even questions about the guns, but he refuses to speak, and he's starting to seriously frustrate the cops. But all this talk of courts and investigations doesn't seem to be getting them anywhere at all. So instead, they switch gears. They're going to be as direct as possible and give it to him straight. That's their last hope at getting him to crack.
What do your friends call you? Do you have a nickname or anything?
Jay.
We're just getting to know you, man.
Right.
Obviously, you can see that you're not a bad person. Just the vibes I'm getting.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're in here talking to us for a reason. And it comes back down to this incident. You being honest with us is what we'll be able to work with you. We know that you were there. And we also got your DNA in this car.
If I've been in that car, I would tell you guys I've been in that car. I don't have no reason to lie or no reason to put myself in any trouble.
Your role in it is the driver, because we know you're the driver. Really what we're looking for is why. You're already being charged with the incident. You explaining your actions and what really went down is just going to help with your role in this. We know you didn't pull the trigger, but you not being honest with what went down is not going to help you. It's going to, the prosecutor and the judge and jury are going to look at someone who's not remorseful.
Drove over there and they started shooting.
So they told you to drive over to Rockaway?
Yeah.
Who was sitting where in the car?
In the front, and Zebo sitting behind me, and then popped over.
It worked. The cops actually got a name. It was a nickname, but cops could eventually tie this back to a man named Zaire Saunders, who would be interrogated later. This was huge. They'd actually gotten a gangster to tell on one of his partners. But they weren't done yet. They knew he still had more information, and they weren't gonna...
You can call him a snitch, chat, because he's affiliated. He took part of it willingly. He knew he was doing. Now he got caught. Now he's ratting. This is a snitch, not a civilian. That's not affiliated. That don't take part in the crime willingly. You can tell. That's not ratting. That's being a civilian. But he was a member. He's not a civilian. So he's snitching. He's a rat. This is the difference. Know it.
Stop putting on the pressure now.
We got to go back to who was in the car with you. I know you know Zebo. Pa. You say you just know him by Pa. Do you know his real name? Okay. And the third person, you're saying how often have you seen him? Would you be able to identify that last person by a picture?
Jeremiah physically looks defeated. He's avoiding eye contact and is hunched over. He likely never saw himself giving up the names of his partners, but that's exactly where he found himself. The cops, however, are over the moon, even managing to get descriptions of the people he doesn't know the names of. They ask a few more questions before leaving him alone for a minute to prepare their next move. However, on their return...
Even though they're not, they some shooters, bro. We seen that his gang is some shooters. Even though they probably got the best of aim and they still willing to shoot that bitch. This is on YouTube. I'm seeing this. I know niggas in his city seeing this. Niggas in his city seeing this. Hey, no. Not, he's a rat.
They didn't expect to see Jeremiah, a once tough and unbreakable gang member, to cry because of what he'd done.
Would you say his first name was what? Is this him? Do you want some tissue, man? I need a verbal yes or no if that's him. Yeah.
He's a snitch. Snitch. He snitched on himself. I ain't snitched on the gang. Don't cry now, you red ass boy. Don't cry now.
If this is the first time you've seen a gang member cry, you're certainly not alone. But it actually happened again in the detective's very next interrogation. While these cops were busy talking to Jeremiah, a breakthrough had been made outside of the interrogation room. Remember this footage recorded by a civilian witness earlier? Well, after 5 days of investigation, they actually managed to track the car down, enabling them to take in another suspect, Antonil Whitaker. Police would quickly realize that Antonil might be even more important than Jeremiah as a suspect. He's a supposed member of the BBM gang, and believed to be one of the suspects that initiated the shootout. The thing is, he's just 17 years old. Since there's still some information even Jeremiah couldn't give them, they figured they might be able to scare him into giving up everything he knows. And their first idea is an unconventional, but possibly extremely effective method: a call home to mom.
Hello, Ma.
This is really, really serious now. You need to put yourself wherever you was and get to telling with your part as much as you can, because you can't take the blame for this, and this was not you. You shouldn't be sitting there. They know it's your car. You can't get out of that. Dude, you better than this.
That's his car.
Antonil doesn't even seem to feel like following his mother's advice. Despite the fact that they know it was his car, he's claiming that someone else was actually driving it that day. And even more unfortunately, he'd forgotten exactly who. Listen to his story.
Don't let niggas drive your V, especially you. My sister had that. You don't let niggas from this hood, that hood, and let them drive her V. It got so bad. Let me give you a little quick story time. I brought a car off my sister. Fuck you, nigga, from this hood. Girl, she wasn't banging. Of the nigga my sister stuck to. I think they in there because I didn't bang. She. My sister get a new car. I buy her old car from her. That's why I started checking over the payments, gave her some money. Yada yada yada. I'll go to I'm with my girlfriend. My girlfriend house at the time. With my car. I ended up driving through the projects. Of the enemy of the nigga my sister used to talk to. Not thinking nothing of it. I don't know, car in the road, they was taking some kids out or something. I pull behind, stop, wait for them to move. I see a car coming this way, so I'm right here. I see a car going flying this way. Some brake. Up down. It's fine. I had to. And go faster. I did after that. All I see when him put his gun out. You got your, if I see pull a gun on me, I'm shooting before I get shot. Damn me. Damn, my sister had that bad. I never knew why, but I do know. I didn't know why at the time. Cause like, don't bang. I got no beef with nobody from. But I didn't realize her car had been marked because he's let her boyfriend drive it. He's from the enemy hood. So be careful letting people drive your car. That's in the story because you don't know. Her car been marked. And that shit could have ended my life. That day I just so and then drive that car to her car been marked. Like I said, I was talking to a girl that stayed around the area on the enemy hood. Like, was this enemy hood? Hey, but I wasn't from nowhere, so I didn't give a fuck. I didn't stay. My girlfriend stayed there, so at the time.
And see if you believe it as much as the detectives do.
So you said you were at home?
No, like the whole day?
Someone took your car somehow, brought your car back, gave you the keys back or whatever, and then so you could take your sister home. That doesn't make sense, man. You know a jury, you know a judge. They're not. I'll be honest with you. I mean, what you're giving is not even a good statement. It's not even a good lie. That's why it'd probably be easier for you to tell the truth.
You see, about an hour after the shooting, Antonil was confirmed to have used his car to pick his sister up from an event, meaning it was clear that he was still in possession of it. But that didn't faze Antonil, and despite how many questions police asked him, he refused to give up anything.
How this works, you might already know this from TV, but I mean, it's kind of accurate. We're going to compare your DNA to the DNA on the shell casings that we collected on scene. Is there any reason your DNA is going to be on there? Because if there is, you've got to explain that. You said no, or I don't know. Who got in the car with you at all? If you're saying your DNA is not going to be on those shell casings, right? And you're saying you weren't driving. Who did you let drive your car? Believe it.
I don't know who's
But right now it looks like it's on you.
They're trying to force a confession out of him by telling him that if he'd been in physical contact with any of the evidence tied to the murder, they would find out and he would get sentenced. And they're not lying either. When you touch anything at all, you leave behind skin cells, sweat, small hairs, or even oils that can quickly be traced back to you. Meaning, if Antonil had touched the car, the bullets when loading his gun, or anything else related to the murder, police would find out. However, as of now, detectives haven't had the time to run these tests to confirm if his DNA was present, meaning they couldn't pressure him to a confession, and they'd have to wait until later. So in the meantime, they move their attention to the next suspect. Remember the man Jeremiah gave up to the cops back in his interrogation? That was Zaire Saunders. Once they had his name, they tracked him down and arrested him. And he would prove to be even more helpful than Antonil and Jeremiah combined.
Did you know of or hear about that young lady who got killed?
Yeah.
Did you know her?
No.
We don't think that she was the one meant to be hurt. I mean, based on what we're seeing. But unfortunately, she did get obviously hurt. Her family's hurt.
Right.
You know, when we did that search warrant, we got your phone.
Yes.
Okay. And we downloaded your phone. And your location is putting you on Rockaway that day. No shit. What happened that day, man?
I shot a pistol. You shot a pistol? Yes.
This seems like a breakthrough. He's just admitted to being a part of the shooting, and it seems that all the detectives' work has just paid off. But they're not quite there yet. Of the 3 shooters, 2 did indeed use pistols, but one of them was actually yielding the extremely dangerous automatic rifle that can be seen clear as day in this footage here. Instead of jumping this fence after the shooting, the man with the rifle fled directly down Rockaway Street, and that's the direction Zaire's phone shows him running. The good news is, that clears Zaire of being the man that killed Tiara. After all, she was killed with a very specific pistol round. But that does put him directly in the spotlight of being the man with the most dangerous weapon, and one that is directly lying to the cops right now. And they're not about to let him get away with that.
That video of the incident. You're on camera shooting a rifle.
Is it a pistol that holds, 2 rifle rounds?
I mean, it ain't just... It is big.
Does it have a stock on it? Like something kind of modified type thing?
No, it didn't have a stock on it. So describe it then. I'm getting all of this rifle.
That single piece of information resulted in Zaire actually getting the highest sentence out of anybody involved in the case. Just the use of such a dangerous firearm actually increased his prison time by somewhere between 10 and 15 years. But he still doesn't know that yet. He's still under the guise that if he helps the detectives out, he might get a better deal. So not only did he tell them where to find the rifle he used, he also gave up one of the most vital pieces of information the cops had received in the entire case.
Group BBM. I just know they call it BBM. For real. BBM. Yeah.
Zaire just told the cops the name of the gang that was involved. A huge piece of information that will help them track down every last individual that was part of this attack. Now the detectives have just one more final question that'll hopefully put together the final pieces of the puzzle they're looking for.
You've been extremely helpful throughout this whole interview, and you're helping yourself out too. We gotta ask, whose idea was it?
I know for sure it wasn't mine. They just around, so both just say, yo, it's my dudes. But you got different dudes, so you got different, like, that's how they is. Well, like, they ain't say it right then and there, they said it on Facebook, like, but they was like, I knew they was talking on me, they just didn't say it directly to me, but I knew they was talking on me.
He just gave up the group chat where all of these shootings supposedly were planned. With this, police simply had to cross-reference the names in the group chat with the supposed shooters on the CCTV, and the names that had been mentioned in previous interrogations, giving them enough evidence to sentence all 6 of the shooters. But unfortunately, this
The only
was...
one that been moving tech is the youngest nigga. He ain't say shit. It's his car, obviously. I wasn't driving. Who was driving it? I don't know. What they look like? I don't know. A nigga moved tech. The 2 grown niggas, they gave up on me. Yes, I shot a handgun. We know you wasn't. Okay, it was a rifle. Yes, I was driving. This is his name. This nigga like, damn, the young nigga is a tech.
Wasn't the resolution they'd hoped for. After examining all the weapons confiscated, it would turn out that none of them were a match to the bullet found in Tiara's head, meaning they still couldn't tie any...
I told you who shot him. It was a nigga that pulled up in the hospital at first with it was a nigga in a car in front of him. It was that nigga in a car in front. Nigga, that nigga right there on the left, all on the left, ski mask on. Bottom, it was him. Nigga at the left with the ski mask. It was him. I'm telling you, he the one that killed her. Had to be.
Specific person to the actual murder. However, there is one puzzle piece we haven't told you about yet. The one that would solve this entire case. Watching the CCTV footage, it's clear that there is one man that directly shot at Tiara's vehicle. If you follow this man, dressed in all black, back through the CCTV, you can